I feel like I would be a really good ref, though, from the side.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't miss the call.
Backseat reffing.
And when the WNBA's golden goose goes down and the league acts like nothing's wrong, that's when the truth comes out. Caitlin Clark just broke her silence in a raw sit-down with Sue Bird. And this is the most revealing talk she's had about her injury battles. For the first time, she opened up about the emotional punch of being thrown into Game 30 without proper prep, and how that gave her a whole new respect for what her injured teammates had been quietly enduring. She didn't sugarcoat the mental strain of watching from the bench while the league's ratings took a wild turn in her absence. The way she exposed her vulnerability in this interview showed not just the personal cost, but the cold, uncomfortable truth about just how much the WNBA depends on her star power. Does the league need to start protecting its players? Or will they keep acting like it's business as usual? Clark's injury nightmare didn't creep in slowly. It hit fast and without warning. The first blow came in preseason with a left quad injury that instantly changed the trajectory of her year.
Challenging part of like all this. So obviously I have the first injury and I sit out 4 games and then I come back and I play really well.
Yeah.
And I feel really good. And like even this begin the year, like I played great. Like I started the year really good. Like I felt really great. Like my numbers were great. I was shooting the ball well. And then I get hurt and it's like, okay, like you gotta get healthy, whatever. You're like, I'm gonna do whatever I can, you know, to get back to what I was doing and whatever.
She was sidelined from May 28th to June 10th, missing 5 games with a quad strain. Then came another gut punch, a left groin injury that benched her for 4 regular season games and the Commissioner's Cup final from June 26th to July 5th. But it was the right groin injury on July 15th that broke her patience. The final straw in a season that's been nothing but stop-and-go chaos. This wasn't just about physical pain. The uncertainty ate at her head in ways she never saw coming. This is a player who never missed college games, suddenly smacked in the face with the brutal reality of pro basketball's physical grind. Clark laid it out raw with Sue Bird. It's not like I have a training camp. You're tossed into Game 30. No usual ramp-up, just trust your body and hope it holds together. The stop-and-go chaos of her season wasn't just frustrating, it was torture. Every return came with the same mental battle. Could her body keep up, or would it betray her again? Then came the text from her mom that hit her like a gut punch. You've taken so much time for everybody else. You need to take time for yourself now.
And ticket sales are like up across the WNBA, and then and they're also, when you don't play, there's a dip, like a substantial dip. So how do does it impact your patience? You know what I mean? Like you're coming back from this injury and you know this, everybody knows this, that when you play that changes.
Yeah.
I guess the better question is, how are you like managing it so it doesn't impact your patience?
Those words carried a weight Clark had never felt before. Suddenly, the race to get back on the court wasn't just about hoops. It was about finally putting her own health above everyone else's demands. That was the turning point, the moment she started seeing her role in a whole new light. And the numbers? They told the story no one in the league could ignore. The Fever were flat out better with Clark on the floor, going 8-5 when she played compared to a flat 9-9 without her. Her absence didn't just change the team's vibe, it changed the scoreboard. When Clark was out, the ripple effect was impossible to hide. Attendance dipped. TV numbers dipped.
Early on with the first couple injuries, I was like, oh, like I need to get back. But I think like my mom texted me like after this last injury and like they know how hard it's been on me. But my mom was like, you know, you've taken so much time for everybody else. Like you have to take time for yourself now. So just trying to do that the best I can too.
The May 17th Sky Fever Showdown pulled a massive 2.5 million viewers, one of the season's crown jewels. But games without Clark and other top stars, they barely scraped 1.5 million on ABC. Meanwhile, the Fever were grinding for a playoff spot without their primary scorer and playmaker. At times, they had only 9 players suited up because injuries ripped through the roster, and league rules on hardship signings tied their hands. For Clark, the whole ordeal opened her eyes in a way nothing else could. She gained a deeper respect for every teammate who'd fought through injuries before her, and a sharper understanding of just how much the league leaned on her presence. Without her lightning scoring and surgical passing, the Fever's offense slowed down and got way too predictable.
I think that's been like the hardest part, has just been like the stop and go of everything. Like, yeah. And also like with the type of injuries that I've dealt with, like there's no real, it's not like 6 weeks. All right, you're coming back for, the Connecticut Sun game on August
all about how you
30th
feel in the
or
moment.
whatever. It's like, how do you feel? Like, and even like when I have been back, like, I don't know how I'm going to feel the next day after playing, like when you're dealing with like these type of injuries. So I think just like the patience of dealing with all of that and giving myself a lot of grace and just trying to be the best.
Teammates were forced to take on roles they weren't ready for, and the team's fifth-place standing felt like it was hanging by a thread every time she sat out. Up to this point, Clark had stayed quiet publicly, but when she sat down with Sue Bird, all that changed, and the league office wasn't ready for what came next. Sue asked about her sideline coaching during games she missed. Clark smirked, and then dropped a bomb. "I was more so coaching the refs." She let that hang for a second before hitting with the knockout punch. "I'd make a good ref. I wouldn't miss a call." Those words didn't just sting, they were a direct shot across the bow at league headquarters. This wasn't some throwaway jab from a frustrated rookie. Clark's comment dropped right in the middle of one of the most heated seasons the WNBA's seen in years, where officiating was already the league's biggest dirty secret. Coaches had spoken out, players had spoken out. Some even got slapped with fines for saying what everyone else was thinking. And then here comes Clark, the league's biggest ticket seller, timing her shot so perfectly that no one could write it off as harmless trash talk. She delivered it with that deadly combo of humor and conviction, making it clear she wasn't whining about missed calls for herself. She was calling out an entire system.
Cool to like see people continue to show up, and like for my teammates, whether they're like fans of the Fever or just fans of myself, like they're continuing to show up and support. And like that's why I've been trying to take as much time as I can. Like I sign autographs for way longer when I'm hurt than when I'm active. So that's never something I like wish for, but like you know, I still want to make as much time as I can for people and, you know, give them something that they can remember.
Her basketball IQ gave her words weight. She'd studied film. She knew exactly what a foul looked like, understood positioning and contact better than most players out there. This wasn't heat of the moment frustration. It was calculated truth. From the sidelines, she'd watched her teammates get hammered with no whistles. She'd spotted patterns in how certain games were officiated, and after taking her share of hard fouls and what she called cheap shots, in her rookie season she decided to speak up. That subtle jab to the refs was more than just shade. It was part of a bigger wave of frustration that's been bubbling under the surface for years. Players have whispered about inconsistency forever. But Clark, she put a megaphone to it. And the league office? They were watching their brightest star publicly question the very integrity of the game, and they couldn't ignore it. Clark's comments didn't just trend, they set the internet on fire.
It's been hard.
Yeah.
Well, like, I'm gonna go to every road game no matter what, like whether I'm playing or not. Like, and it's hard because obviously I do feel this like responsibility of like being out there and playing, and like, not that I like think there's like a fear of any of this ever going away. Like that doesn't happen when like LeBron or Steph get hurt. Like they're always gonna be there.
No,
like, you
you'll be
know,
back.
yeah, exactly. So, but like you do want to play, like you want to give people something to cheer about or scream about, or, you know, people spend so much time and money and resources to come and.
Clips of her Sue Bird interview started circulating within minutes, with fans flooding timelines debating whether she'd crossed the line or simply said what everyone else was too scared to admit. Inside the league, it was chaos. Executives were in group chats trying to figure out whether to treat this as a PR headache or lean into the buzz she'd just created. Some feared it would open the floodgates for other stars to call out officiating publicly. Others quietly admitted she was right. The media pounced instantly. Headlines painted her as both a fearless truth-teller and a rebel willing to challenge authority. Talk shows replayed her "I wouldn't miss a call" line on loop, breaking it down like it was a game-winning shot. Meanwhile, players around the league were sliding into her DMs thanking her for saying what they couldn't. One veteran reportedly told her, "You just said out loud what we've been screaming in locker rooms for years." And the fans? They were eating it up. Every replay of her smirk, every clip of her body language, every pause before she delivered that punchline, it all became meme-worthy gold. But here's the kicker. This wasn't just a viral moment, it was a warning shot. By questioning the league's officiating, Clark was forcing everyone, refs, coaches, executives, to either defend the status quo or admit change was needed. And once that conversation starts, you can't put it back in the box.
I think that's also been really good for me too, is like when I do go out before games and like sign autographs and like see all the young kids or fans or whoever's come to the games, like it just like gives me a really good perspective on everything, and maybe gives me a little bit of motivation and just being thankful for everything that I have. Like, and very thankful for like my fans and just the fans of the WNBA, of like how they can constantly continue to support and truly just want the best for me too at the end of the day. Like, you know, I think that
The WNBA's response? Silence. And that silence was deafening. No public statement, no league memo, no acknowledgement that their biggest star had just lit up the officiating on national platforms. But behind closed doors, insiders said the temperature was rising. Some executives wanted to quietly pull Clark aside and remind her to keep certain opinions in-house. Others warned that trying to muzzle her would only backfire. She wasn't the type to take a corporate warning and then smile politely for the cameras. The referees' union reportedly bristled at her comments, with whispers that some officials felt personally disrespected. Yet at the same time, sources close to the league admitted that Clark's critique wasn't baseless. Data was already showing inconsistencies and foul calls across teams and markets. Social media kept the story alive for days.
I think just how much I was getting pressured. Like, it was just like constant full court. And also, I think as the season went on, like, that chilled out as much. Like, it's hard to like want to do that an entire season. Like, teams like, you don't want to pick up 94 feet the entire season. Like, that's just hard.
Hashtags like Jock Clark was right and Fix the Whistle started trending. Every questionable call in other games suddenly had fans tagging her name, asking what she thought about it. She'd become the unofficial face of the league's officiating debate, whether the league liked it or not. And the Fever? They were caught in the middle. Coaches had to field questions about her comments instead of game strategy. Teammates defended her in interviews, calling her fearless and protective of her squad. By the end of the week, it was clear this wasn't just about one interview. Clark had sparked a movement. The conversation about officiating had left the locker rooms and made its way to national headlines. And now the league had a choice: fix the problem or brace for more public shots from the star they couldn't afford to lose.
It's been a huge part of this year. Like, it's just been so challenging, like being active and playing 4 games and then not, and like not feeling the best, and then like frustrated of like how hard I worked in the off season, and then like all I do is rehab and like continue to do this process and just like trying to trust that the best I can. And obviously there's really frustrating days.
When Clark finally stepped back onto the court, all eyes were locked on her. Not just to see if she was healthy, but to see if the refs would treat her any differently after her bombshell comments. The arena buzzed with anticipation. Every whistle, or lack of one, sent waves of reaction through the crowd. From the opening tip, the tension was obvious. The first time she drove into the lane and took contact without a foul call, the fans erupted in boos. Cameras instantly cut to her face, and there it was, that smirk. The same one from the Sue Bird interview, only this time it was aimed directly at the officials. Her teammates fed off the energy. Every bucket she scored, every assist she dropped felt like a statement. The Fever bench was electric, sensing the game had become bigger than basketball. It was a public showdown between the league's brightest star and the very people she'd called out. Midway through the second quarter, she drew a clear foul on a 3-point attempt. The whistle blew and the arena exploded.
Days where like it's a little bit easier and like you're very, very motivated and like you're close to the finish line of getting back and being back, and then like it's not like I have a training camp to like build up to like playing my first game again. It's like, no, like you're tossed into game 30, like go try to play well. Like, it's hard, like it really is. And I think it has given me really good perspective on like what a lot of my teammates and people that I've, teams I've been a part of, like certain people have had to go through. Like, I've never been through anything.
Clark glanced toward the baseline ref, gave a slow nod, and mouthed something that had social media detectives lip reading within minutes. By the end of the night, she'd put up a near triple-double and led the Fever to a win. But the box score was just part of the story. This game was about power. Who had it, who used it, and how one player had turned officiating into the hottest topic in the league. The morning after that game, the sports world woke up talking about one thing: Clark versus the whistle. Every highlight show opened with her smirk after that first no call. Every debate table was asking the same question: had she just changed how refs call games in the WNBA? Clips of her nodding at the baseline ref went viral overnight, racking up millions of views with captions like "power move" and "she runs this now." Fans dissected every angle, slow-moed every moment, convinced she was sending coded messages with every glance. ESPN analysts debated whether the officials were giving her more respect. or making a point to show they weren't intimidated. Some said the game proved she'd won. Others argued it showed the league doubling down to keep control. Either way, the conversation wasn't dying, and it was multiplying. Former players jumped in too. Some backed her 100%, saying stars should demand higher standards. Others warned that going head-to-head with refs was a dangerous game that could backfire when the playoffs came. Meanwhile, Clark stayed calm in the spotlight. In her post-game presser, she brushed off the drama with a half smile, saying, "I just play the game. Everyone else can talk about the rest."
Probably why it's been so hard, because like I've never really dealt with injury, and that's probably been a challenge in itself, because like when I first like was feeling pain, like I didn't understand it. Like I didn't know. I was like, am I just tight? Like, am I just getting old? Do I need to hit a stretch? Do I need to get like a little rubbed out? Do I need some icy hot? Like, what's going on here? So I think it's been a balance of like understanding my body. And I know like, you know, whether it's this year, whether it's next year, and even throughout my career, I'm going to be very thankful for.
That single line became the quote of the day. Cool, controlled, and dripping with quiet authority. By the afternoon, the story had moved beyond sports. Mainstream news outlets were covering it as a clash between player influence and institutional power. One thing was clear. Clark wasn't just playing basketball anymore. She was rewriting the balance of power in the league, and everybody knew it. The WNBA was trapped. They couldn't risk alienating Clark, but they also couldn't pretend she hadn't just put their officiating under a microscope. And here's the thing. That was only the surface of what she'd been living through. The real story? A much darker reality about how the league's brightest star was being treated on the floor.
That's a PNW win! W's in the chat.
W's in the chat.
Oh my gosh. That one just aged me, but we're getting better. Shoot, good win. Win's for win.
A dub is a dub, so keep on rolling.
Clark's rookie year and now her sophomore season have exposed something ugly. The physical punishment she's been taking isn't just welcome to the league hazing. This was survival in a system where every night felt like she was being hunted. Game after game, she faced contact and collisions that went way beyond normal defensive pressure. And the consequences were written all over her injury history. She wasn't shy about describing it. The constant full-court pressure, the traps, the angles cut off before she could even think about creating. It wasn't just tough defense. It was systematic targeting, designed to wear her down and chip away at her game. And it wasn't random. Look closely at how opponents guarded other rookies compared to her, and the pattern jumps out. This was deliberate.
Growth that we've had as a team, because early in the season we were just so inconsistent, and if teams were to do that, we would normally lose those games, but it just shows that we're getting closer, we're trusting each other, and I think that's the biggest part, is trusting and knowing that we can win those games even if they go on.
Her deadly mix of deep shooting range and pinpoint passing made her the ultimate threat, and instead of simply trying to outplay her, teams aimed to break her physically, possession by possession. She admitted openly that her injuries this season came from a level of pounding she'd never experienced before. "I've never been through anything like this," she said, and for the first time, people started asking, was this just basketball? Or was it a coordinated plan to push the league's biggest draw to the breaking point? The difference between college protection and the WNBA's brand of physicality has never been clearer than in Clark's injury-plagued season. Repeated soft tissue issues, quad, groin, back to quad, have turned her year into a stop-and-go grind, forcing everyone to ask the question the league doesn't want to answer. Are their stars actually being protected?
A lot of ups and downs in the WNBA this season. To take care of business in a winning streak like this, what does that sort of say about how this team's coming together?
Yeah, you know, Seattle's a great team, a great team, and it's hard to play here. And so we knew that. We knew that they just came off kind of a bad loss against LA. And so they were hungry for a win. But for us, it's not about other teams. It's about our standard. It's about stacking the days. And I think that where our mental's at as a team and as individuals, we're in a really good spot. And, you know, it's not going to be easy moving forward. But I think today we stayed true to the scout. We trusted the offense. Kelsey has been having a hell of a season. She was a little bit off, but she facilitated for us offensively down the stretch. And it just shows that everyone has something to give, even if your scoring's not going to be there. But I don't know, I'm just proud of our team, and I'm proud that we.
Clark and her teammates haven't been shy. They've questioned calls and non-calls, not just in press conferences, but right from the sideline. She's been vocal about what she sees as inconsistent officiating, and when she says it, the league can't just brush it off. The pounding she's taken is unlike anything she faced in college, and her story raises serious, uncomfortable questions about how the WNBA balances letting them play with protecting the talent that drives the game. Because here's the ugly truth. If your golden goose keeps getting hacked, pressured, and hurt without whistles, what does that say about your priorities? Clark's decision to finally speak out marks a turning point. She's not just protecting her own career, she's setting a new standard for player advocacy the league can't bury under PR spin. And yet, while she's been sidelined, the Fever have fought to stay in the playoff picture. Aaliyah Boston has been a force, Kelsey Mitchell has come up clutch, Lexi Hull has filled gaps, and Sophie Cunningham has brought her trademark grit. That resilience makes her eventual return feel even more dangerous for opponents. So what do you think? Does the WNBA need to fix the officiating and protect its stars, or will they keep rolling the dice? Drop your thoughts down below, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a moment. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next one.